right, welcome into another episode of Off the Leash. I'm Ashley Holder. That's Leah Doherty, OBR's Fred Greetham, and the one and only Mark Schwab. It's nice to be back in the building with y'all because we haven't all been together, us
Mark's
four.
been gone the past couple
Mark's
ones.
been on vacation or something. He's just been hanging out, chilling. But,
just the late games.
Just the late games.
Nothing fancy like a vacation. It's just been the late games. I mean, early. They tell me to leave.
Well, what a great time to come back from the late game / vacation, right, Mark? Because the 49ers take over the Browns 26-8 today over at Huntington Bakefield, and it just there was a lot going on, guys. I mean, we can start wherever way you want to go. We say this every week. There's always mistakes, and there was a lot of them today. I mean, right out of the gate.
The special teams again, 3 bad ones. They give up a long return. They fumble a punt. My favorite one. This was a new one, a new mistake. Corley catches it and steps out of bounds at the 6. What is that? Just get out of the way. You're going to be at the 40. But he made, hold on. Now we got it. Yeah, they made, of course, mistakes outside of special teams. We beat up special teams on this show before, as any of the talking heads have about this team. You made mistakes, and you played a team better than you. Okay, you're going to get beat. Like, it's pretty straightforward. The Niners are one of the better teams in the NFL. They have way more talent. They have better coaching. I know the weather was trash. Weather can be an equalizer. It wasn't today. The better team won because the worst team made a lot of mistakes. Shocking recipe for a loss for the Cleveland Browns.
But you jump-start them by giving them the ball 4 times inside your territory. I mean, on the 16, the 32, self-inflicted again, like the punt return to the 16, and then like we talked about the other 23 of their 26 points were set up. They started on a short field, and the Browns, again, I use the word fragile. They punt. The punt return 66 yards to the 16. They can't recover. They had the Browns went 90 yards. That was an impressive drive just before the half. And the only legitimate drive the 49ers had was in 39 seconds. They went all the way down the field and kicked a field goal. And you could say they regained all the momentum and from that point on. But the Browns just keep teeing it up for these opponents, Oh, how about starting on the 16? How about starting on the 18? How about starting on the 32, Even the Browns would be able to get some points if they're starting there.
Some of these drives are ridiculous. 6 plays, 18 yards, touchdown. That's like 3 yards a play. That's terrible, but it's good enough for a touchdown if you're facing the Browns.
Yeah, I just think we could replay some of our past episodes, and they could suffice for, most of these games. When we talk about self-inflicted wounds, and then you look at what Myles Garrett was able to do last week, but then only having, 1 sack, right, today.
Yeah.
So when you don't have that same performance from the defense like we're used to seeing, but you're not going to see that from Myles Garrett every single time. You can't expect that. But then young guys making young mistakes, and then you look at, there was a lot of injuries too, right? Dylan Sampson went out, Jack Conklin, Malik Collins got carted off. I don't know what others
Isaiah
I missed
McGuire.
too. Yeah, and then Shador went out very briefly, and then he came back and said he's fine. We saw Dylan Gabriel very briefly, but yeah, it was just kind of like the weather, just like ugly, sloppy, messy, and now Browns are going to have a losing record for the 2nd straight year.
And going into it, we knew that it was going to be a cold game, so we didn't know how much that we would be able to see Shador throw the ball. We knew we were going to probably see a little bit of Sampson and a lot of Judkins, right? But it was clear when you got out there, you saw how windy it was.
Mm-hmm.
And you were in the press box today too, Fred, and you as well, Mark. When the ref would just turn his mic on, it was like...
It was like that on the radio broadcast
Yeah.
when I was driving back to Cleveland. You could hear it.
It was so much wind to, for him to have to figure out, okay, what am I going to do? Throwing it, trying to make a good play out of something when there's nothing out there. But what I will say, especially in that first half, the line did a pretty decent job of giving Shador a clean pocket. A lot of time to make a decision. What more can you ask for as far as, of course things started to break down after that, but I will say that first half, he had a pretty clean pocket.
Well, you get behind, and then, that's what the defense, they'd only had 13 sacks all year, and they had 3 today. And, Myles had 6 more sacks than the whole 49er team going into today's game. But, you think that first drive, how much was it to win? Jerry Jeudy got behind the secondary on 3rd and long, would have been, a nice 50, 60-yard touchdown. and he overthrew it. And again, he didn't say it was the wind's fault, but boy, that was a missed opportunity for sure.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Did you have something?
Well, I was going to say there's an animated chat between Judy and Shador on the sidelines. I think it was CBS Sports that tweeted it out. I don't know if it made the telecast because we were at the game.
Yeah.
But they're both. It starts with Judy being very demonstrative, and then it looks like Shador offers some pushback. They didn't it wasn't like yelling at each other, but it was emotional, animated, and it looked like there was a good, hard nose to nose without being nose to nose conversation there.
It's just it's shocking to me because Judy is doing absolutely nothing. And it's like you're going and you're yelling at this young quarterback. And I'm really curious of when that play was, because I saw the clip, but I didn't see like the time.
Right.
So,
I don't know if it was after the missed
right.
Yeah.
So I'm like, when did this happen? Was it after he was overthrown, or what was it exactly? What was he saying? Because it didn't seem like he was trying to coach him up. It seemed like he was kind of yelling at him almost. You know what I mean? And then eventually Shador looks like he's like walking away. So I'm sure we'll get a great answer from Jared Judy on Wednesday.
Because he didn't talk post game, right?
He didn't talk. No, we saw him in the locker room. He got his stuff and he got up out of there. He had the PR walking with him. I mean, so I think that was a clear sign to basically do not talk to
me.
this guy.
We were waiting to get in the locker room, and Judy walked out the door and past us. If a player exits the locker room that early before media even gets in, yes, that is I am not talking to you. Don't stop and ask me now on the way out. I am pulling the ripcord and I am ejecting on this situation.
Because 99% of the times, those guys that walk out first are guys that didn't play at all. Like, it's like the young guys we never see, guys we never talk to,
right,
that didn't even need a shower because they didn't break a sweat, and they're going.
Well, there was some guys that did talk after the game, and again, it was just about the consistent mistakes that they had during this game. Check it out.
You have to learn how to snap out of it. The good teams will figure it out. You know what I mean? It's just you have to learn not to let this thing compound into something even worse. And so one mistake, we got to nip it in the butt and kind of just start brand new and then start the ascension from there. But, we just have to do a better job of just cutting it off and not letting it just turn into multiple mistakes.
Yeah, I think we just killed ourselves today. I think they got the ball in the plus territory 4 times. Just put our defense on our heels, and defense, we didn't get any takeaways. We didn't get the ball back, so I think we just killed ourselves in that aspect.
I just think that we're a young team. It takes a long time to gain that experience and that maturity. I was starting half the games my first and second year. Finally had the chance to start my third year, and gain the experience those first 2 years that allowed me to be a week 1 starter, week 3. It's the same thing with a lot of players now. We have Carson Schwessinger, who's an absolute dog. But, it takes a long time to get that experience, that maturity. But we're going to be fine. We have unbelievably talented young guys, a very talented team. It's just you got to have your eyes in the right spot and execute. I mean, that's really what it comes down to, operation and execution.
All right. Wyatt also said a lot about just the younger guys, and it's interesting that he brought that up just because it's not just the young guys making mistakes. It's also veteran players making mistakes. So, I understood what he was saying, but it is truly, when it comes to the Cleveland Browns, it is a collective that are making mistakes.
Well, it was, Wyatt today that got rotated with Tevin Jenkins at right guard, and he said earlier in the week coaches told him that he was going to get rotated, and he was like, I'm not going to get into specifics, but it comes down to that I need to play better. I just need to be better. It's like you said, it's everyone.
Well, you look at your 3-9, you might as well see what you have with some of the young guys.
Yeah.
Tevin Jenkins is a former second-round pick of the Bears. He's got a mean streak to him. Probably not a bad guy to give a shot on the interior of the line. All 3 of their 5 linemen, both guards, everyone on the interior of the offensive line is a free agent after the year. Jenkins is playing guard for them. He's played tackle. If you want to give him a shot, that's the kind of guy to throw a bone, see what you got there. Yeah.
Well, at 3-9, I think they can do that with.
I think we
whoever
can throw a
else
lot of
is
bones.
left.
A lot of bones to be thrown here.
There's a whole lot of bones you can throw at this point.
And I think you've seen that. Even long before today's loss. Once we had, I think, Shador go into, you could tell he's more comfortable with a lot of the rookies. We were talking about this before the podcast. Like, where is David Njoku? Like, what happened to him? Where has he gone? Like, is this a knee thing? It's just he's not good. I like, it's been Harold Fannin. It's been Dylan Sampson. It's been Quinshon Judkins. Like, the only people we're talking about really outside of, like, Myles Garrett are the rookies. Like, it's Carson Schwessinger. It's Mason Graham. It's Shador. Like, who else are we talking about that's making plays? Grant Delpit has made some plays this year. But, like, who else really outside of the young guys, like, are we talking about?
Well, part of that is because before this draft class, which we've all thrown bouquets at because it is really good, they had some really bad draft classes, and no one from those draft classes are making plays, right? There's no receiver in there to talk about. Both running backs came in this class. Obviously, the search for the quarterback continues, so that's part of it. That's part of it. You're not infusing a lot of young talent along the way. There's not a lot of guys making plays other than the guys that just got here and 95.
Well, when you have 95, you can do a whole lot except possibly win the games that you need to win. But, all right, we're going to take a quick break. And when we come back, we have our infamous true or false question.
Off the Leash continues. Browns 26-8 losers today to San Francisco. We do it every week. It's a true-false question. No living in the gray area. No maybe. No probably. It's a yes, no, thumbs up, thumbs down proposition. We asked a version of this question about a month ago, and we were all like, true, barely. We're going to flip it. About a month ago, I asked if Dylan Gabriel was the best quarterback, gave the Browns the best chance to win, and we all said, yeah, barely true. But we said true. All right, this week, Shador Sanders gives the Browns the best chance to win. He's been in 2.5 games. One was bad. 2 have been okay. Not great, okay. They won 1. They lost 1. Is he the best they got?
Or is he the best that they? Okay, I know
Does he give
you
them
always say
does
it's either
Shador
yes
Sanders,
or it's either true or false.
Does Shador Sanders give them
You
the
know
best
what?
chance to win?
True. I'm going true.
Because?
I'm going true because, one, not only do I think he can throw, we have seen the longest passes this entire season with Shador, and we have not seen it with any other quarterback. I'm not saying that he's the only one that can do it, but that's the only one that is doing it at this point. And I also think, also just the morale he also gives the team too, right? He's energetic. I think he brings good, mojo, good motivation to the team, and just gives them a different type of feel. Like I think just outside of what he's doing on the field, it's just who I think his aura, his confidence, and who he is as a person, who people have slammed. I think that also has helped them a lot as well.
I think if you take him away as your starting quarterback, there is no longer anything exciting about like the fans to look forward to with this team, except maybe Myles Garrett breaking the single season sack record is about all they have to look forward to. So I think, not that they care what the fans think or that'll base their decision at all, but I just think based on the body of work that we've seen so far, that's the most creative that I've seen the offense. Those are the longest passes that I've seen, the most explosive plays that I've seen. It's slight, but I do think he gives you the best chance. It's not an incredible chance, but it's a better chance.
Saying there's a chance.
Yeah.
So
I go with true as well. I do, again, great pass to Harold Fannin, laid it right in there, 34-yard touchdown. He's doing just enough to give you glimpses. And again, it's the supporting cast on special teams that digs him a hole, and he can't. But right now, I think we have a good idea what Gabriel is. You want to see what he can do the rest of the year because, as you said, that's the most excitement. But it's the only thing really, I would say, to cling to for the fans for hope that maybe they have a quarterback and not you got to spend the whole offseason hoping you find one again.
Yeah, I'm going to say I don't know how much of this is because of the quarterback change or because of the change in play caller. But I will say Sanders, for the reasons you guys have mentioned, is they're going down the field. They're attacking the entire field, which is something they just were not doing with Dylan Gabriel. When Gabriel was quarterback for the one game, I think it was, that Reese called plays, it did feel like they were getting downfield a little bit more. But I'm going to go by the razor-thin margin. Yes, he is improved as far as taking care of the football. Shador, he's gotten better. He still has problems taking sacks, but if he's okay, good at some things, bad at others, and Gabriel's good at some things, bad at others, but this guy doesn't average 3 yards a target or whatever the ridiculous number was for Dylan Gabriel, I'll say yes. I still think they're drafting a quarterback. I don't think either of them are the QB of the future. But for whatever we have the rest of the season, if this guy lets him attack the boundaries and get downfield, go for that. It looks more like a real offense.
Well, we also have to remember, I mean, granted, it would have been, we were talking about this, it might have been different if they would have won today and then they turned around and then beat the Titans.
Oh, totally.
You'd have been out of trying to find
season.
a quarterback, right? But who knows? I mean, you still could be on that trajectory. Who knows? But I also want to say I also believe True because I think he makes others better around him, right? Like we've been able to see some of these other people have some explosive plays, right?
Tell that to Jerry Jeudy.
Thank you. That's where I'm going into. Outside of Jeudy, right? We'll say the wide receiver room it's just we're not pumping there at all.
Isaiah
right?
Bond has improved.
Has improved, yes, but we're also saying he's a rookie as well. So
Right.
it's like I expect that improvement from him, right? I just saw this where it says, okay, Shedeur Sanders has 2 starts, and in those starts, Jerry Jeudy has 4 catches, 2 drop passes, and a fumble. Okay, through 10 games with Dylan Gabriel and Joe Flacco, Jeudy had 28 catches, 8 drops, this is what the guy said, a lousy 2.8 catches per game average, and he's sitting there yelling at Shedeur.
I can't wait for Jerry's.
I'm just kind of like, what does Jeudy expect? It's his play. I mean, granted, we're just going to keep going back and forth about it, so I'm excited to hear what he has to say about the.
It's not going to be anything.
The interaction with him because he does. I mean, I understand why he's probably frustrated, but it's like, dude, you're not out there barely catching the ball. And when you do, you're dropping it.
The play against the Raiders will haunt him the whole year.
Yeah.
I mean, there was 2 throws Shedeur made in that game that got people excited. The bomb to Bond and the one where they got him out and Jeudy was open and he hit him. And then what could have been a huge play. And we're going back a game there. But as soon as you saw that guy running up behind Jeudy, we're all like, we know how this is going to end. And bam, sure enough, that's how it ended. Today, the moment on the sidelines with him, it feels like this is headed somewhere. And I don't know if it'll end up in a press conference that comes to a head or a sideline interaction, much to today, that gets more or maybe it's out even on the field. It feels like something very well could happen there between those two, and it's not good. I hope the coaches are able to short circuit it, or maybe these two get on the same page.
I will say there's been a couple times, Fred. I don't know if you've seen this, but when Shedeur has been speaking, Jeudy will come up to the podium, and I don't know if he doesn't know if someone's there or not. You can tell he wants to talk, just get it over with. There's been a couple times where he's came around the corner and he's rolled his eyes, and then he goes back and sits at his locker. And I'm kind of thinking, like, is this about Shedeur or just because maybe he just wants to talk, right? I mean, maybe he just is ready to get it over with and not have to talk, right? It doesn't have to be directed towards him, but it's also just how it's coming off. And I think this clip is not going to make it any better. And it's going to just piss him off when reporters have to talk to him on Wednesday.
Yep.
Once again, after you essentially pretty much did absolutely nothing today, essentially. 3 of 26? Okay, your longest.
His
was
body
11.
language, is affecting the young guys because they made him the number 1 receiver, paid him like a number 1 receiver, and even if things aren't going well, you got to carry yourself different. You can't be, walking around and I don't want to speak or tell the PR I don't want to speak. Just that's beside the point, but don't take it out on everybody else. Be a leader and fix the problem. Part of the problem is you're being paid to be the receiver to lead this team, and you're not doing it.
And this is kind of what makes you think, okay, well, what was going on in Denver? It makes you kind of want to circle back around and see what was going on in Denver, then, the whole trade and what was going on. So, all right, so we're going to wrap that up. We're going to take a quick break, and we're going to look ahead on the schedule. The good thing for the Browns is there is a very good game on their schedule coming up next. We'll talk about it after the break. All right, who is worse than the Cleveland Browns? I'll tell you who. The Tennessee Titans. Okay, they lost today to the Jacksonville Jaguars 25-3. They will face the Cleveland Browns next week. This is a positive thing. I have said from the beginning that I think that Myles Garrett could break the sack record here because I was looking at how many times a game, how many sacks that Cam Ward takes. There were like 5, 4, 4, 3, 5. And I was like, This is where I'm getting excited. This is where I'm getting
That's
excited.
what we have
I
to
think
look
we could
forward
see him
to.
break it, and it would be awesome to see him break it at home.
That's where we're at now. It's one guy for soccer. No,
Yeah.
Today I don't know. I got the feeling sometimes that I'm not going to say this is true, but they sure seemed like they weren't trying to win the game. In a point-challenged game, you had the ball on the 20, you're down 7-0, and you don't take the field goal. He never said after the game they didn't have confidence he could make it. You go for it. You turn the ball over without points. You did that throughout the game, and it was just shake your head. But as far as, right now they're 5th in the draft, okay? You play the Titans next week. You would think that would be a win, but we thought that when they played the Jets a few weeks ago.
To be fair, they are a lot worse than the Jets, though. To be fair.
They're
this
way
team
worse,
can
yeah.
win or lose to anyone, though. Like, it's just
True.
Like, you tell me next week they would lose to the Titans, and it wouldn't surprise me. But if they win, that wouldn't surprise
I'm sorry.
me.
I would be totally surprised if they lose to the Titans. That is tough.
I
That
think
is tough.
I feel almost ridiculous saying this based on especially the Browns' offense, but I feel like this is a team they should destroy.
Oh,
I
they
just
should.
I just
keyword.
You're right. I understand.
Should.
I don't think the Titan offense will get anywhere against this defense. I don't think Cam Ward is good. I wasn't big on him in the draft. He has not been good. They've already fired their head coach. So that is a team in a bit of turmoil, even though they feel like they at least have their quarterback locked up. They have one win all year. It's against Arizona. I have no idea how they did that.
I watch the film.
I watch tape. I just don't think they're good at all. I think the Browns have been able to do some things against bad teams. I think they'll be able to run the football. I think Shador will be able to do enough. I'll be shocked if the Browns don't win this game by double digits. I think Tennessee is terrible.
They are. The only thing that brings me pause are the Browns special teams. That's the only thing
Yeah.
that I think could get us into a bit of
But
trouble.
Tennessee's just so bad.
Do you
It's
see
like
that-
so bad
Yes.
that the fact that you're
guys,
like,
I know, but you know what happens with this team. Things happen.
But they're
Y'all
so
have lived
bad.
it long
I know.
enough.
I know.
to be fair, is this a game that they need to go ahead and handle because they're going to be playing the Chicago Bears on the road, who are at this point kind of rolling?
They're hot.
That might.
Yeah.
I think they win next week. It's probably their last win of the year. They got the Titans, okay. At Chicago, sorry, I don't see the Browns winning that. Home to Buffalo, sorry, I don't see them winning that. Home to the Steelers. I'd like to tell myself a story where they're going to win that game. I'm going to lie to myself, though, if I do that. I just don't see them winning that game.
Well, and the
At
Steelers are gonna
Cincinnati,
they're
no.
gonna-
You don't want, no.
By the end of the season, all those teams are going to need those wins in order for
Right.
playoff seeding. So it's like, usually when they're throwaway games, that's not going to be the case this time around.
Right.
I think Shador needs this game to see, without a bad weather day, hopefully it's calm. It might be cold, but as long as it's calm, see what he can do, even if it's against a bad D. He's now got his feet wet. You want to see him open up, maybe have a complete game and say, okay, now you can see a little bit more. They get behind today, and that's what falls into his Achilles, is that he gets sacked because they're just full go, on the pass rush.
Yeah.
They would have been playing from the leader in a close game. Then it gets out of hand, so that's what you want to see. Get ahead, let him throw the ball, see how he commands that against a bad team.
The thing is also, I want to see him do that against a good defense as well.
Well,
though.
absolutely.
Like I get like it,
Baby
I
steps,
totally agree with you, but
weather.
it's like, dang, like I don't want to see those 2 wins just come against sorry teams, right? I want to see him go out there and be able to lead that offense and dominate against a Bengals defense, a Ravens defense, or whatnot. He'll hopefully have those opportunities later in the year, but totally agree with you, Fred, on that on how that needs to go. So we're probably saying how many more wins for the Browns really quickly for the
One.
rest
One.
of the season?
One.
Wow, and we're saying only that one for the Titans.
Yep.
I got 2.
Okay, who's
Oh!
your second one?
Second.
I think they'll beat the Steelers. They always beat the Steelers in
Mark's
Cleveland.
happy about that?
Jameis was the last win last year. It's just, it just depends. The Steelers are kind of reeling a little bit. I don't know what they're doing with the Bills, but as far as that just seems like a game they maybe pull together.
I hope you're right.
Yeah, Buffalo's up 23-7 right now on the Steelers, but I cannot say that because I cannot go against my Steelers, but that's neither here or there. But the Browns lose to the 49ers 26-2. I just forgot the game. 26-8. It's just so many losses I can't even keep up. They dropped to 3-9 on the season. We'll be back here next week to break down the Titans and the Browns. Hopefully a win for Ashley Holder, Leah Doherty, Fred Greetham, and Mark Schwab. This This is Off the Leash. We'll see you next week. I couldn't scroll up on